Sydney, one of the loveliest cities in the world. It's a pity that it's doomed. My name's David Williams. If you've heard that name at all, it's probably in connection with words like crank, fanatic, heretic. You see, I have a theory. It was the night of Friday, April 17th, 1981, as a fleet of research vessels steamed silently out of Sydney Harbour. 2 kilometres off the coast, they cut their engines, and at precisely 12 o'clock midnight, a small mini-sub, containing Australia's brightest young oceanographer, was lowered noiselessly into the sea. He was never heard, nor seen, again. All that remains is a single recording, his last radio message from the deep.
Come in on course 279, depth 400 feet. Roger that, AV valves open, fin out. Here comes the ballast. Trail lines released, you're on your own.
Roger. This water's like oil, I can't see a thing.
Roger, switch the fore and aft floodlights.
Switching now. God, my arm, the sockets have shorted out.
Go for complete ejection.
No response, the instruments are going wild, I can't control her, she's going down.
Depth 900 feet.
Control her out, she's going down, I can't hold her, she's going.
Go for complete ejection, bail out. Depth 1100 feet.
Too late, it's pulling me in, it's this. My God, that's the answer, ice to sea to him.
The results of the expedition were never published. No matter how hard you try, you won't find that dead scientist's name in any official records. Not a certificate of his death, or even his birth. As far as anyone's concerned, he never existed. Eyes to see. What did those last choked words mean? Where do they come from? He was trying to tell us something, that dying scientist. Something we're not supposed to know. Water, sparkling elixir of life. What friend is there more gentle? What enemy more occult? For something is gravely wrong with this harbour of ours. In 1950, this was a picturesque strip of seashore known as Seaforth Beach. By 1960, it was 2 metres underwater. By 1970, 6 metres, 1980, 16 metres, 1982, 19 metres, and by 1983, the depth had risen to a total 22 metres above what was once dry ground, an increase of more than 60 feet in 30 years and 10 feet in the last single year. Sydney Harbour is rising, and with every year that passes, the rate is increasing. The Sydney Harbour Bridge. For over half a century, the engineering pride of Australia and the longest single-span bridge in the Southern Hemisphere. At least, for the moment. You see, the Sydney Harbour Bridge is shrinking. Every day, the north and south pylons are inching closer together. You see how the roadway bends up in the middle? It's not supposed to. There was one other record left from that ill-fated voyage. A sonar map of the seabed transmitted just before the sub was lost forever. Nothing strange about a range of undersea mountains. Nothing, that is, except that at the time the submarine was transmitting the map, it would have been steaming right through the middle of Sydney. The map was ignored. After all, the ship was out of control. The pilot himself said the depth finder was malfunctioning. The whole issue was covered up and forgotten. Oh yes, they made sure nobody knew about it because, you see, those dots do connect. The rising harbour, the twisting bridge, all omens point to the one awful conclusion, that Australia's greatest city lies poised on the end of a seesaw, a great rock platform perfectly balanced through the ages, that at last has begun to topple. That dying scientist had in fact uncovered this nation's most hideous secret. The city of Sydney is doomed. The end will be swift and terrible. It will strike without warning and without mercy. With a shock to shake the Pacific, the greatest earthquake ever to rock this continent will strike. The shockwaves will twist and warp the crust, the ground roll like the sea. Great fissures swallow entire houses, then crash shut over them. Fires will rage, dams will flood. Then, with a roar of thunder, the entire city of Sydney will tear itself from the mainland. Parramatta will break off to impact on the western suburbs with the force of a hydrogen bomb. At this point, the whole cataclysm will reach its climax. The city will make the final headlong dive into the Pacific, gouging a trench 35 kilometres wide from the seabed and hitting with such force that the western suburbs would be swept to the Blue Mountains by a 200-metre tidal wave. By the time the ashes settled, 2 months later, not a trace of human existence will remain. Just a great bay, 25 kilometres long, 35 kilometres wide, where a city and 3 million people used to be. Surrounded by many densely populated houses, the roadstead and the largest harbour were crowded with ships and merchants arriving from all directions, creating a babel of voices, bustle and noise by day and by night. A modern Sydney tourist brochure? Tried 2,500 years earlier. Plato's tale of the lost city of Atlantis. Trouble is, no one wants to know about doom, while everywhere the blessings of paradise beckon to be enjoyed. Our gardens spread resplendent with tall and graceful trees, our streets with every wondrous building. All this, the city, bathed in the light of Helios, divine, beautiful, and a wonder to behold, produced in superb quality and immeasurable abundance. You were never told a word about Sydney sinking into the sea. Would you like to know why? Because the greatest cover-up in the history of this nation has been wrought to keep it quiet. You know, that's the most tragic part of this whole affair. This life is so perfect, so comfortable, that they refuse to accept that it ever could end, even when death is staring them in the face. And it makes me mad that they can be so stupid. The strangest twist of all is, I know exactly when the final Holocaust will come. April the 1st, 1988. Good Friday. The day we pay for our sins. Day of death. Damn them, they won't listen to me. Well, I don't care anymore. Let them die, let them all die. With their greed and their sloth and the very vanity of Satan. You're all blind! Did you ever wonder why, after 50 million years of perfect balance, the rock shelf has only now been overbalanced? That's why! As the ultimate expression of your vanity, you built 1,000 towering Babels, over 1 billion tons of concrete and steel piled onto the one point in less than 30 years, until finally the land could support their weight no more, and the great seesaw at last began to fall. But as human nature gained the upper hand, they became evil, unable to bear their riches with restraint. And to him who had eyes to see, they were debauched. Because of the greatest treasures, they chose to destroy what was most beautiful. But to him who had no eyes to see, they appeared most excellent and happy, the more they grew obsessed with a wrongful pursuit of material gain and power. Ha! They thought they were safe. They thought they'd have their secret kept forever when they sabotaged his submarine and sent that scientist crashing to his death a mile beneath the sea. No! I am he, and the city of which Plato wrote was never destroyed. This is Atlantis! And Zeus, the god of gods, ruling according to eternal laws, saw the miserable condition that had befallen this once honourable race and decided to punish them. There came violent earthquakes and floods, and in a single dreadful day and night, the island of Atlantis disappeared into the depths of the sea. Atlantis, the punishment of our sins. It's only a story. But then, that's what they said about Troy, and the world being round, and Jesus Christ. The city is sinking. Perhaps we really are being punished. Perhaps. I wonder if it even matters at all. Cause is as follows. Much destruction has befallen mankind in varying ways, and it will always continue in the future. The greatest disasters by fire and water, and the lesser by 1,000 other causes.